Hey, yo.
Hello and welcome to the Holo Herald Podcast. Today we have an extremely special edition for you guys. We are joined by our two now very good friends, Noah and Ethan from MagicLeapFans.com. They are our first exclusive guests on the podcast, and we're super excited to have them. Today we're going to be a little bit different. We're going to start out with an interview with these fellas. It's going to last about 35 or so minutes. And below, we're going to have a link dump. You guys are really going to want to check out the link dump today because we have some exclusive links from these guys to some really cool stuff. Some leaked Magic Leap PDFs from a while ago, some really cool locations to find some exciting information, and you're really going to want to check it out. Also, you're going to want to check out the timestamps if you're going to want to skip around, see what there is to talk about. Normally during our podcast, we say some bombastic things and some controversial topics. Today is no different. We want some really exciting discussion down below in the comments. We really want to keep it civil. Our guests are really good friends now, and we want to treat them as if they're part of the Holo Herald family. Let them know what you guys think in the comments below, but let's keep it civil for this time, for once. One quick note. Before we get started the podcast, if you're interested in being on the podcast, if you're interested in being one of our guests, please let us know. Hit us up on Twitter at the Holo Herald. Let us know in a comment below. Personal message us on YouTube. Anyway, just get a hold of us. We're really interested in having people. We had so much fun with these guys. It was a blast. And now they're just part of the Holo Herald family, and we'd love to add more people to that. So if you're interested, let us know. Let's just jump right into the interview. It's really exciting, so let's get right into it. All right, hello and welcome to episode 24. Today we have a really exciting interview, or we have some exciting guests joining us for this podcast. We've been talking about doing this for quite a while, and it's finally come through. So today, I'm just going to jump right into it because I'm really excited. Today we have Noah and Ethan, who are self-proclaimed Magic Leap fans, and I'm not self-proclaimed, they're definitely some of the biggest Magic Leap fans we have ever met. And I guess, let's just jump into it. Today I'm joined with Austin.
Hey, Austin here. Excited to be here with Noah and Ethan. These guys are great. They're very passionate about what they do. They've done plenty of research on Magic Leap, and they're definitely a credible source, and it was a blast having a discussion with them, and they brought some very unique perspectives to the table. And yeah. And
go ahead and introduce yourselves, boys. Noah, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself first?
Hi, it's very nice to be here, Eric. I'm Noah. I was introduced to Magic Leap, I think, 3 years ago, and I've been loving it I've been loving the idea of it ever since, actually. Magic Leap is basically what got me into mixed reality.
Okay. And Ethan, go ahead.
Thanks for having me on the show. My name is Ethan Banks. I'm from Broward County, Florida. I'm a college and high school student, and I really I've been obsessed ever since I found out about Magic Leap. Me and Noah talk about Magic Leap all the time and the various things we could hopefully do with it in the future.
Yes. So Noah and Ethan caught our eyes because they would join on to the live stream. Whenever we live stream the podcast, they would jump on and give us some differing opinions, and that was really exciting to us. We decided that it would be an awesome opportunity to have them on and to have that discussion with them in person, because just chatting back and forth on chat doesn't really get our points across very well. So let's go ahead, and I guess we're going to just jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about what got you guys into augmented reality, mixed reality, and virtual reality.
Well, like I said, it was Magic Leap in general, but that's basically what got me into mixed reality. And I was excited by the HoloLens, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't like my slice of pie at first. I love the idea of having holograms you can place on your walls, and holograms you can interact back to you, but it wasn't like exactly the perfect thing that I found. And I thought Magic Leap could be a real game changer, and that's why I loved it, and it introduced me to something that I really loved.
So how did you first hear about Magic Leap, Noah?
Believe it or not, it was actually on a 2015 video. I think it was actually 2 years, not 3 years. So almost 3. But it was a 2015 video called 2015 EM Tech something or other. I think I can find it. Maybe we can link it down below later.
Okay.
And that video it was where I first heard about it. I was watching a tech video, and that was it. And it suggested that there was a lot of buzz going on a company called Magic Leap. And that's where I first heard about Magic Leap.
So was that you just heard about the company, or were they talking about a device, or what were they talking about?
It was an interview with Rony, and it was an interview with Graham, and it was an interview with Neil Stevenson.
Oh, okay.
And it was about 45 minutes long, and that's when I first heard about it. And I said, "This can't be real." And I looked it up, and I looked at it, and it was real.
So was this before or after you'd heard about the HoloLens or any other mixed reality devices?
After I heard about HoloLens, but I was like, "Oh wow, this is real. This is real. HoloLens is real. This is real."
That's exciting. So, Ethan, when did you first hear about Magic Leap?
Right when the first demo video showed up on the internet. And I know it was top trending on Facebook, and I clicked on it.
Oh, is that a day at the office?
Yeah, it's a day at the office where they're playing Dr. Gorborts, which is a game they're currently working on.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sweet video.
Yeah.
I
Although we
just
know
myself.
it's fake now. We know it's fake, but it's just a concept video.
Well, yeah,
But,
that's the concept videos were actually everybody kind of did the concept videos. That was,
Yeah,
I think, one of the
yeah.
biggest misconceptions with mixed
yeah.
reality in general.
Yeah, the concept video, I knew it was fake from the start, but a lot of people took it as real, and they were disappointed to find out it was fake. But yeah, that video made me research the company more. And I mean, originally I did know about HoloLens, and that's how I clicked on the video because it was like top mixed reality, company, and now we're here now, and I've been obsessed with the company ever since.
So that brings us to a good point. So when Magic Leap first started, and still to this day, if you go to Magic Leap's website, they show videos of like a whale jumping out of a gymnasium and people reacting to it. So to help clear this up for people that are confused, what are they trying to show with that? What do you think? I guess I should probably preface this by these guys are just really big fans. The reason we're having them on is because they've had time and they've done all their research and they've looked around, whereas us who focus more on HoloLens, we spend more time looking at that. So it's really good perspective to have these guys that actually know what they're talking about coming on. So, so what do you guys think their goal is with sending those images across?
I think the whale is more of a concept, but it's a concept that's trying to profess the realism of this can happen and this will be a thing at one point in time, and you will get to live it and you will learn to love it.
That's I can't say anything better than that.
So do you think it's misleading at all to people? I mean, everybody's kind of done it. I mean, HoloLens has done it, Meta's done it, everybody's fallen prey to this concept video ideology. But for Magic Leap's held on to that same image, I think that's almost a synonymous image with Magic Leap with most people. Yeah. So do you think that it's time for them to move away from that at all? Or you think they're still kind of holding on to their secrets right now?
Well, there's no way to be sure because we don't know if they have something that is real, like, and looks exactly like that, or they don't. So there really isn't any way to tell. But I think they should just stay.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think that they're pretty close to having that if they don't have it already. The fiber scanning display patents, like, they're passing those patents now.
So you guys, I remember when we first talked, you linked us to a leaked PDF, correct?
Yeah, I linked you to the PDF that was leaked back in 2013 and reposted 2015 and reposted again this year.
So that was so for people that don't know what this is, do you want to give them a quick explanation and rundown of what that is, Noah?
Okay, it's a pitch deck from Magic Leap themselves. It was a pitch deck from them to we're not sure who actually. It was leaked as part of a micro leak from the company itself, or a major micro leak to the company to actually get out the word about Magic Leap to the world. I think it was leaked on purpose. I don't know, but it essentially tells you what this company has been doing, and I used it in my third article, which you were just reading before we came on. There were images in that. There was an image of what looked like a Magic Leap headset concept. And if you started there in the form factor, you would have seen it.
So for people that don't understand, We'll probably link to that PDF down below. So this PDF, it was leaked, you said, back in 2013, correct?
2013, sometime mid-2013, maybe September, I think. I don't remember. I just found it, and I saved it ever since, and I've been using it, giving it to people, showing them, hey, this is really what they're doing, what they've been doing since then.
Do you think these are things that they're still working on, these ideas and these concepts, or do you think this was more of a like the concept video? Does this to more get their ideas across, or do you think these are actually devices? Because when you go through that PDF, there's some really exciting pictures on some really almost fantastical looking pictures. I have a kind of a broader question. What do you think is the biggest misconception about Magic Leap? Whenever you see it in the news, or whenever you see us talking about it, or people in the community, the MR community talking about it, what is the thing that everybody gets wrong about Magic Leap that needs to be set straight?
I think that people think that they don't like women, or that they have a sexual lawsuit that was so taken out of context.
That is a part of it, yeah, but
That's a big part of it.
As far as the technology goes, everybody keeps saying things like, oh, Magic Leap is fluff, oh, Magic Leap's never ever gonna come, but yet they have so much money and funding, so we're kind of wondering where this funding is going.
Because my problem is like, when I go to their website, it seems super vague to me, and super, like...
You're right, it is.
And why do you think that is? That's my question.
I think they're just trying to keep a secret. I mean, I think that's what it boils down to. They want to be minimalistic in the way they publish their press.
So you believe it's some sort of, like, strategy? To, like,
I think it is a part of a strategy to be very secretive. And I think
I believe they're holding their cards close to their chests.
I think it's building up hype, but it also is... I do think it's hurting them in a way also.
Okay.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair estimate. I think the problem that most people get with Magic Leap is their level of secrecy, but not just the level of secrecy, but one of my biggest gripes that maybe you guys could help set straight for me is Magic Leap's marketing strategy. Mr. Rony Abovitz, he tends to pick like celebrities and people that are not in the tech community to show the device to. Has he ever said why this is, or has he ever been an inclination to why he only shows it to celebrities and not tech gurus?
I don't think so. He's never ever said why he's showed it to them. But he probably has showed it to a lot of other people as well.
I believe there were times when he showed it to a few tech gurus, but I never saw any actual proof of it. Well, maybe he did, but I think I saw a few times when it was posted about he saw. I don't remember anymore where I could find it, but
at this point, I really don't think they have marketing strategy yet, but hopefully that's to come soon. I mean, a lot of factors that we've been looking at lead up to a device coming out soon.
And on that note, we tend to think that there's going to be a reveal in December, because a lot of people are saying December, something in December, because it started off with a rumor by Scoble, and then it got bigger, but they started building on that, because Magic Leap watches our subreddit, and we know that for fact, because I even talked to people from Magic Leap on Twitter and other places.
So there's been a lot of murmurings of something about happening in December in Magic Leap? I didn't hear about that.
I know of one solid person who did, and that was Scoble.
Yeah, it was Robert Scoble.
We can link you to the Reddit post on that, and I think he says something about he talked to someone.
Scoble on December reveal and LiDAR. Well, LiDAR was the other thing.
Yeah, so he basically said that he has contacts, obviously, at the company, and supposedly they said that they're gearing up for a release in December. I'm pretty sure.
A reveal or a release.
Release or reveal, whatever. Probably one of the bigger leaks in my.
And then I'm pretty sure I verified that they are using LiDAR, which LiDAR is what you use on a self-driving automobile that allows it to self-drive. So that's the ability to sense and be aware. And then I posted this about how it could possibly be using LiDAR.
So there's a lot of rumors and a lot of talks about Magic Leap and what they're working on and stuff. What do we know so far that's solid? Like, can we guess that it's going to be a pair of glasses? Can we guess that they're going to be using the SLAM algorithm? Is there anything for sure that we know concrete about Magic Leap at this point in time?
Well, there's something about the form factor actually. Besides the SLAM algorithm, besides all the archive.org posts on the technical aspects of it that no one's ever going to read, there is something I can link you from an old TechCrunch article about Andrew Iguodala. And I'm not talking about the Siri in your hand. I'm talking about the specs of the basically looking like sunglasses.
I'm not sure if he was an investor or they just showed it to him, but he kind of spilled the beans on a few things.
And even better, we think there's going to be some NDA dropping soon.
Oh, interesting.
This is what they put in their article. The device is so small it's almost like you're putting on sunglasses.
Who said this? So the quote
that was Andre.
That was Andre. He has signed an NDA. He did a little micro leak, like he planted the micro leak in him. And
this is the basketball player, correct?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, I think we remember talking about him on our podcast. So yeah, he actually said quite a few things. This I wouldn't say leaks because I don't know how tech savvy he is, but the quote is, the actual device is so small, the one that's going to come to market, it's almost like you have a pair of sunglasses on, he said, which is really exciting. No, I think we have to draw a line here, though, because he said a lot of other things that are a little bombastic and shows Magic Leap's what are their weaknesses to showing their device to non-tech people. This is another example because we don't know exactly what he saw, do we? Or is there other instances of people saying that?
I think I have an idea of what he saw, and it's like that elephant in the hand, but it's like there's another video of a girl in his hand. I saw one like that. Like the baby elephant. You can link this video down below if you want. Here's the thumbnail and the video. You see that?
Interesting. So
yeah.
what we're seeing is do you know what device he actually tried? Did he get to try like a consumer ready device, or was it the big rig that they always show in the pictures?
I'm pretty sure he was on the big rig.
Because I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's actually.
No one has seemed to have ever been able to try the PEQ, the product equivalence, or the product equivalent number series of the latest.
So I got a question. There was that leaked photo of the device. Was that actually legit or was that fake?
The one Business Insider leak?
Yeah, with the motherboard on the back.
I don't think that is not a consumer ready device. So,
but do you think it was a legit device that they were developing?
It could be, and we don't know when that picture was taken. We don't know the exact time that was taken or what that actually is. So, but it could be. There is a possibility.
So what draws you guys to Magic Leap? Of all the devices, there's so many now, and there's so many companies and startups. What is it about Magic Leap that keeps drawing you guys towards it and keep wanting to invest your time researching it?
I would say there are various partnerships with other companies such as ILM and Weta, and also the way they're displaying mixed reality compared to HoloLens. What
do you mean? Do they compare mixed reality to a HoloLens?
So Magic Leap uses light field optics.
Mm-hmm.
And it's completely different than HoloLens, which is like a fixed focus. It's supposedly more realistic and it's more natural. And it's supposed to replicate the way your eyes would naturally focus without a headset.
Interesting. So does it bother you guys that there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, fluff behind Magic Leap? Like, they use a lot of fancy words to say the same thing over and over again. Is this do you guys think this is a direct, this is just happenstance that this is what they have to do? Or do you think they're deliberately keeping it fluffy and secretive to hold back the device as long as possible?
If I may, I think they're deliberately doing it to keep their cards close to their chests, but I think they're keeping a lot of other things close to their chests. I saw in a patent about occlusion and other things like occlusion and I can't remember how it went, but something to do with it might be able to do VR, but that's a bold claim because I posted something about occlusion and occluding light. beyond what you're seeing around you. And also, it was a patent. I can't remember how it was called. If I can just find it, that'd be great. But I won't post it or anything. I'll just... Okay.
What do you guys define Magic Leap as? The device. Let's talk about the device, because we all kind of know what the company is and what their goal is.
Okay.
But right now, as much information as you guys have found, what would you guys define it as? A pair of sunglasses that can do what the HoloLens does, or is it more a traditional holograms, or what do you guys define Magic Leap as?
I'm thinking it's something. I'm not sure how big it would be. Like if either sunglasses or goggles or headset, it's somewhere in that realm. From the things we've seen on the internet, it does seem like there's going to be like belt packs or at least pocket packs that attach to the headset.
So you think it's going to be like a standalone device like the HoloLens, or will it be connected to a computer?
I think it'll be a standalone device like the HoloLens, yes.
Because that's what I want to see.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping for.
I do think it's going to be like that.
What do you think Magic Leap's goal is here? Do they want to take the world by storm? Do they want to come in and beat out HoloLens? Or do they want to bring a completely different view to mixed reality and what it is? What do you think their goal is with this device?
Eventually, in the long run, I think that the device into every single person's hands in the world. And they wanted this to replace the cell phone. But initially, like when the reveal happens, I think developers will be the only ones to have this. In the long run, this will replace cell phones, just as we think HoloLens will replace cell phones as well, but we think Magic Leap will do it better.
Okay.
So Noah, this might be a better question for you. Like, what operating system? What is it based off of? Where's like the App Store? Or...
Oh yeah, I know all about this. This is based off of Android to start with, but it's built off of its own custom stack, custom kernel, custom chipset. It has its own custom everything actually, but it starts off with Android and it built on top of that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the appealing things about the company, is that they're creating a full stack solution. So they're building pretty much everything from scratch.
Is it going to be running off Unity?
Unity 3D and Unreal 4 engine.
Interesting. Unreal, that's exciting.
And nothing's for sure though, so
yeah, a lot of it we understand everything with Magic Leap's rumor right now, but that's the thing, is there's so much information floating around, it's really hard to sift through it. So it's really good to have people on like you guys that have actually spent time kind of sifting through it and deciphering what is rumor and what is a little bit less rumor. We were talking about December for a release. Is that when you guys think we're going to see a Magic Leap? At least their device? Or do you think we're looking like 2018, 2019 time zone?
Something about this fall, right? So that was about tested. Okay, so tested. On their podcast about 3.5 months ago, they did say in 3 months we will see something, a lot of information about Magic Leap. Now, about 3 months ago, and then move forward 3 months, we saw a tweet from Mike J. Mika, the guy who's on podcast a lot. And he says, I think the beans will be spilled this fall, winky face, on Twitter, regarding Magic Leap, in reply to Malcolm's 1979. That was the guy that posted the original 3 months tweet. Not tweet, but post on Reddit about this podcast where he was talking about Magic Leap in the first place. And he said they would again in 3 months, but now it's full.
I think that we'll see the device by the end of the year. I'm not sure if it's going to be either December, November, whenever, but I'm not sure if it'll fall into like the consumer's hand or the external developer's hands till 2018.
All right, so hopefully we'll see something in December.
Yeah.
What do you guys think the price of a Magic Leap will be?
He was pretty adamant that it was about like not Kindle price, which is about $200 for the most expensive Kindle.
It's not a Ferrari.
But it's not the most expensive thing in the world. Not unattainable.
It's not like $3K for a HoloLens.
And there's a tweet about that too.
You're okay.
Yeah, he was talking about this at his talk at
Emerge
America's conference in Miami about 2 months ago, I think.
He was talking about a price point?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
The average consumer will be able to get a device.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. Who is the average consumer of a Magic Leap going to be? What is their angle they're taking? Because we've seen HoloLens take a much more business standpoint, as with most Windows products and Microsoft products in general. And we've seen Meta kind of take an office or a prosumer standpoint for computer people. Where does Magic Leap fit into all of this?
I think they want everyone to get their hands on.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of enterprise thing. I think there's going to be a lot of uses in enterprise, but I also a lot of just normal people using Magic Leap, because from the looks of it, the people that they're pairing up with and the concepts they've shown, I mean, they have everything from games to just simple e-commerce apps, and it just appeals to everybody. And it's similar to HoloLens. I mean, I know HoloLens has a lot of games, and they also have enterprise solutions, so I think it's going to be a product that appeals to everybody.
And there's the tweet, by the way.
That's what I was looking for, mass premium device. So I'm thinking like somewhere between like $1,000 and $2,000. Somewhere else.
But
so the tweet,
or it could be less also.
The most expensive Kindle on the market at the moment is $200 device.
Interesting. So he says, the tweet for people that are listening, it says, this is from Emerge Americas. It says, at Magic Leap, is being priced for affordability as a mass premium device. Not Kindle pricing, but it's not unattainable. That's a quote from Rubovitz himself, actually. That's really exciting. That's kind of cool to see people taking a user-friendly approach and not an unattainable approach like a lot of the devices are right now. So, okay, so what's some resource? So if our viewers out there are interested, what are some resources for them to be able to find more Magic Leap information and access this themselves?
Well, I was just going to mention the Reddit page for Magic Leap. That's
too.
Yeah.
So go ahead and you guys can just rattle off links. All of these links will be in the description below for you guys if you guys are interested in joining a Magic Leap community or being able to do more research for yourself. So there's the Reddit, I understand correctly, and that's pretty popular, isn't it?
There's at least a post on there a day, or a couple at least.
It's getting to be more popular by the days go by.
Who are some people that you guys follow on Twitter to get like the most up-to-date information? Who are the people we could be looking towards in the community to give us the most up-to-date information?
I was thinking Scoble is one. I was thinking I follow him on Facebook too, because Facebook is where he mostly posts.
Yeres,
Randall Hand. He's a co-founder, and we follow each other. Actually, we talk sometimes. And
so another link that will be in the description is Magic Leap Fans. You guys are Noah, you're a writer for Magic Leap Fans, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about Magic Leap Fans and what it is.
MagicLeapFans.com is a website that a friend of mine named Harun, he started it, and he wanted me to be a writer for him on it, so I became a writer for him on the website. And at some point, I guess I'll be paid, but I haven't been yet. But it looks like fun, so I'm writing on his website, and I'm making posts, and it's a lot of my passion.
Here at the Holo Herald, one of our biggest gripes with MR right now is the facilitating of communities. There's not a big place to go for just mixed reality related content. And there's like these little sub communities. There's places for Magic Leap fans. There's people for HoloLens fans. There's people for Meta fans. There's not really a big place for MR. So it's really exciting to be able to find like Magic Leap fans are starting up their own stuff. Hopefully one day we can bring them all together and have a big MR-related community rather than these subverts.
There is a mixed reality subreddit, but it's not popular. There hasn't been a post in a long time.
Yeah, we noticed that. We post a lot of those. And the HoloLens subreddit's not that popular either. It'd be nice to have a place where everybody can kind of come together and talk about stuff. So I guess as our last hoorah, you guys are listeners of the podcast. Have we ever said anything that has kind of just set off your Magic Leap radars or anything like that? Has there been anything that's kind of bombastic that we've said that we need to clear up at this point?
I'm going to let Raptor go first on this one.
I need to think back for a second.
There's been a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ethan, maybe you should go first, but okay.
Well, I know a lot of issues have been around the lawsuit against them for the
sexual harassment lawsuit.
Yeah, sexual harassment lawsuit.
Yes.
And I know, I think I remember you guys talking about it.
Yes, we've talked about it multiple times.
The only problem with that is that there isn't any proof that stuff actually happened.
It
could have happened. I'm not saying it didn't, but there really isn't any solid proof, and it's being settled. So
it's been settled actually.
Yeah.
Settled as not true or settled as true?
Settled as it was.
She filed the lawsuit and it's being settled. So I don't know what they're doing.
No, it has been settled, but I don't remember. I never found out.
No one ever said it was true or not true.
Interesting.
Now I remember after it was settled, there was some news post, local news post to I don't know what state it was in, but they said Magic Leap. It was an attempt to get Magic Leap to be more revealing in their secrets.
Interesting. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. That lawsuit has probably been like the hardest thing to deal with for us
and for them.
Bad publicity is good publicity. Though.
Yeah,
publicity.
People still publish the link about it, and I'm like, it's over. I mean, there isn't any solid proof it happened, and
it still happens on Twitter. You see it every day.
Yeah, it's settled.
Okay, so is there anything else we need to clear up that we've said? Have we said anything too off the cuff?
Not to my understanding.
No.
So we have a weekly segment, Magic Leap Drama. Do you think we're gonna be able to fill that segment with a lot more information coming up, or do you think that's gonna be kind of settled down soon?
I think it has cooled down. I mean,
we've noticed it cooling down a lot too.
It is interesting because there really hasn't been a lot of press on the company in a couple months.
So
like real press. So it's been very quiet, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. When we start our Magic Leap Drama section, we keep bringing up old news, rehashing old news. There hasn't been much lately. For a few months there was, it was post after post after post of new stuff happening.
Earlier in the year, it was pretty hectic. I think a lot of the quietness, it's been eerily quiet, and we think that it's just leading up to a reveal.
The calm before the storm.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we may disagree on some things, and we agree on some things, but I think there's definitely one thing we can all agree on. We're all extremely excited for Magic Leap to give us something, right?
Yes. In mixed reality in general, of course.
Yes. Yeah, in mixed reality in general.
We want HoloLens to succeed.
And even Apple, we want to succeed. We want them all to succeed. We want them all to give us something great, a great future, something good to look forward to, so I can have magical dragons and something I can have a lightsaber duel. It'll be fun.
Exactly, and we just want a Magic Leap device, right, Austin?
Oh yeah, I want a Magic Leap. I think it'd be cool.
We're just ready for a device.
Yeah.
I want to play Dr. Wordverse.
Bring it on.
Give me something, Ronny. Stop teasing me.
Yeah, come on, Ronny. Ronny scares us a lot, though.
I think it's Rony. I don't think it's Ronny.
Oh,
Rony? I think it is. I think it is
because
Rony.
I think they've pronounced his name in a few meetings Rony.
Oh.
He probably hates us.
Yeah.
No,
that's one thing about the podcast. You keep on saying his name wrong.
We're calling him out. We're trying to call him out.
Yeah.
See if we can poke the bear.
I think
he scares us, though.
I think he's liked a couple of Noah's tweets.
Really?
He has, actually.
Yeah. Whenever he likes a tweet, the Reddit goes nuts because they're like, "Ooh,
I think it's like verification to something. It means this is true, basically." And on that note, he did also like my tweet about. It was a tweet that I gave like months ago, but it happened to be liked recently. But when I looked back in his likes, I couldn't see the like until we couldn't see the like in his likes recently.
So are you guys big conspiracy theory fans? Is that fair? Because I feel like
No.
a lot of Magic Leap stuff is conspiracy theory level stuff. You know,
It's all speculation.
It's speculation, but
Yeah.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. No.
Okay.
It's a lot of speculation. I do agree, but there is a lot of stuff back up the speculation. Just secret stuff. I mean, it's stuff you have to dig down deep to get.
I don't like having to dig that far down deep either. I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah, it really isn't hard to do some research. I mean, to anybody that's listening, just need to go on the Reddit and you can go on the Mixed Reality Discord server we have, and you can find out a lot about the company.
And Chispy, if you're listening to this or watching this, I want to pin the Mixed Reality Discord to like the sidebar or something, to like the Reddit sub sidebar.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think it's been a rousing time. I know me and Austin, have we learned a lot?
Oh yeah, it was great talking to you guys.
We've learned a lot, and we're just excited to talk to people, mostly just people in the community. This is really exciting to talk to people because when we're on the podcast and your little chats come up, it seems like you're not real people, really. There's like that disconnect. But it's really exciting to get you on here and get our viewers on here and actually have a discussion with them and realize that, gosh darn, these are actually real people out there. That's kind of exciting, isn't it, Austin?
Oh, yeah. It's sweet to meet people in the community who are super passionate about Magic Leap or HoloLens or Meta or whatever and talk to them and really see their point of view because, I mean, we have a pretty one-sided perspective on things.
Forced one-sided, not necessarily.
Yeah, like we're open to whatever, but yeah, I would agree with that.
Our realm is in a one-sided location. So I just want to say thank you to Noah and Ethan for joining us. Do you guys have any closing words?
Just going to say it's been a pleasure being on and happy to be here, happy to do it again sometime.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks for having me on, and yeah, I hope to be on again.
Yeah, no.
Hopefully, after the product is revealed.
Oh yes,
that
definitely.
would be exciting to follow up to see how many of our speculations, speculations came true. That would be really exciting.
What would be nice, yeah. And
I have to say, Ethan. So you were lying to us that one day when you said you had inside information.
Yeah, I was trolling you guys.
Dang, we were super excited.
yeah, I seen things you wouldn't believe.
I was kind of like referring to the PDF in a way.
Oh yeah.
Because it is kind of public, but it's
not a lot of people know about it.
You don't have a link.
Do you want me to grab that link?
I think I have it saved somewhere, but yeah, you can drop it in the chat. So
also, before we leave, can we just talk about like the things that Magic Leap can do about like color blindness and stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's
Go ahead.
Okay.
What do you have to say about it?
Well, my brother, he's colorblind, so I was really interested that from a couple of Magic Leap patents shows that they're trying to solve color blindness, and that's something that differentiates it from the HoloLens. Not that I'm trying to harp on you guys.
Nope, you're good. Go ahead.
But supposedly, I'm reading this out. There's sensors that allow the device to figure out what colors a person can't see, and then the device amplifies the wavelengths of light, so it can apply a filter so none of the colors overlap. So it's really interesting to use this as a way to cure color blindness, and hopefully, colorblind people will use this as much as they use, regular colorblind glasses, I guess.
I don't think people are prepared for the effects MR will have on the people with disabilities or people in the healthcare or anything
especially
like that.
Mental health wise. I mean, people with autism and other mental health issues. I mean, this will revolutionize their lives tremendously.
Exactly. I worked in special needs for a few years, and I every day I see new apps and I get new ideas for ways that this could just totally revolutionize the healthcare system and the way we approach these problems. And I think that's super exciting. And to have a device like Magic Leap that's coming out and say they want to be in everybody's hands is really exciting, because that means even if the family's not that rich to afford a $3,000 HoloLens, or the school's not that rich to afford a $3,000 HoloLens, this is something that potentially everybody could have and have access to. That's super exciting.
Yeah, I know my cousin has severe autism. I don't know if she would be able to use a device like this, but it's definitely worth a try, and I think it could help in many ways.
Exactly. It's definitely worth a try. Everything's worth a try.
Yeah.
So I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been an awesome little interview. This has been a great way to introduce ourselves, because this is our first time and your guys' first time as well. So thank you guys again for reaching out to us and joining us. I'd just like to say, if anybody else that's out there listening right now would like to be on the podcast and talk about whatever you're into, whether it's Magic Leap or whether it's healthcare or whether it's programming, or maybe you're just a fan of talking, who cares? We would like to have you guys on here, and this would be awesome. This is something we want to start doing more. We want to reach out to people in the community. We want to bring the community together. And thank you guys so much for listening. I think right now we're going to continue on to the normal podcast. So stay tuned. We have some exciting topics that we hit on this week. And yes, thank you guys so much for joining again, Noah and Ethan.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having us on. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you guys so much. All right. Hello and welcome to the Holo Herald Podcast, episode number 24, I think it is. Let me double check that real quick because I seem to be getting it wrong a lot lately. Yep, 24. Wow, 24 weeks. That's a long time. It doesn't feel like a long time, but it'll be cool to have a history of what we've been talking about and the history of HoloLens and augmented reality. As we listen back, we can go back and look at our all of our theories and crazy discussions and stuff like that and see if they actually came true or not. Anyways, welcome to the live stream, everybody, and welcome to the pre-recorded version if you're listening to the pre-recorded version. We just switched it up, so we're actually going to start streaming Tuesday nights. We found that's better and more people join when we do that. So we figured we'd go ahead and cater to everybody in our audience. And yeah, so we stream about Tuesday nights to about 6:30. We start at about 6:30 or 7. So feel free to drop in. It's the best way to talk to us. It's the best way to have a communication with us. And it's just a grand old time. There's actually a surprising amount of debate and heated discussions sometimes and name calling and stuff. It's kind of fun. We normally cut it out from the pre-recorded version, but come and join sometime. It's a grand old time. Anyways, I guess we can go ahead and we can get started. Today I'm joined by two of my good friends. This is Eric, by the way. And go ahead and introduce yourselves, boys.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm back again for episode 24 of the Holo Herald Podcast. And let's just say it's been a great 24 weeks, and let's hope for many more. And I'm excited to talk about the stuff we have today, so we're here.
Good to have you back, Paul. Not that you were ever gone. And this is this is Austin here with you with the Holo Herald Podcast, coming at you with some sick news.
Whoa, this is
some
awesome.
sick news.
Some
All right,
sick
Austin,
news.
hit us with it. What's new?
No, it's probably
What's
it's fake news.
Fake news.
Hit us with the fake news.
I don't got any. I'm just joking.
Magic Leap just decided they're only hiring women.
Oh, ouch.
Whoa! I didn't mean anything by that, but they just had all those sexual lawsuits lately. I thought as repercussion, they would fire all the men and hire only women. That seems like a
sexual harassment that way.
Exactly.
That sounds like fake news.
No, it's Google it. It's completely
Because everything
legit.
on Google is true.
It is.
Yeah, just go to my blog, Real News at paulzorich, realnews.net.gov.com.club.
Yes.
.abc.
Now we're gonna have to go patent that name though, because someone's gonna find it and then they're gonna charge us
they
forever.
don't know how to spell it though, so that's their problem.
I can write that out really quick in the chat for that. No, I'm just kidding. So what's new with you guys? Anything exciting happened to you guys this past week?
Nothing really. I got a new car. But
Get this. So he's got the Blue Dart. Paul, have you ever seen the Blue Dart?
Yeah, I have.
The Blue Dart is the most perfect car ever, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it works for you, Austin.
And he went and he got a second car. So Austin, single dude, now has 2 cars and a motorcycle.
I'm sorry.
You're living high on the hog there, Austin.
Okay, well, I'm going to sell the car. I got like 3 buyers lined up. Hopefully going to sell it this week. Hopefully. And now I'll just have 1 car and 1 motorcycle. So, I'm not living high on the hog.
I already missed the Blue Dart, though. I already missed it.
You want to buy it? You want to buy it?
No, I don't want your Blue Dart. I want you to have the Blue Dart.
Okay. Whatever.
Very different things.
I guess you're right.
Anyways, enough about Austin's life. Let's talk about mixed reality life and news. Someone come at me with a news source. We'll start it off strong.
All right. So from the website on msft.com, we got a cool article about Windows Device Portable to gain support for mixed reality tooling and more with their Fall Creators update. So just like glancing through this, they're going to add like some location services so you can test more location-based apps and with your devices, specifically catering towards the HoloLens, which obviously is an untethered device. They're also going to add USB like analytics support for the HoloLens, so you can get a better idea of what it's doing, and it will be easier to deploy apps that you've been working on to the HoloLens. And kind of paired with that, they're allowing for 2D universal windows, like the UWP stuff. They're allowing 2D apps to be deployed to the HoloLens now seamlessly. So that means that if you have an app you've been working on but it's not mixed reality ready, you're now going to be able to deploy to the HoloLens and at least like see how it works on the HoloLens. So I think that'll buy more into this idea of these mixed reality offices we've been talking about.
Wait, so this is built into Windows 10 now?
Yes, it will be built in coming in the fall here.
That's interesting. That's a big push by Microsoft. I mean, that just shows their level of commitment to this new platform, this holographic platform, whatever, or mixed reality platform, whatever. It really shows their commitment to it, to just push it straight to the OS, because before you could do a lot of those things. You just had to download. It was the Unity. What was it? Austin, you did it, right?
Yeah, downloaded Unity. What?
Well, I know you downloaded Unity, but there was a specific. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
I don't think I ever did that.
Oh, well, yeah, you could do a lot of that stuff. You just had to download the Unity Developers Edition thing. But so is this going to go to everybody, or who does this go to?
This will come to everyone. It's part of the creators build. There is going to be an insider build that I think comes out sooner. It might already be out. But that's more like when they say insider build, it's more of a beta test, I'd say. Like, it's for your developers or people who are really used to using the Windows platform, so they're more willing to try out new things, kind of like Google Chrome Canary, just where they're rolling out these new features, but they might not make it to a final version.
Interesting. I see on the Holo Developers Slack, there's basically a whole channel just devoted to when they get new releases of Windows, if this works, or when they get new releases of Unity. It's all just people talking about, oh, this broke because of this, and everybody's like, nobody update, repeat, nobody update, and stuff. It's pretty funny to watch them all heifer. While fully immersive apps will always run in mixed reality, this new button is particularly useful for 2D UWP apps, or apps that switch between 2D and immersive when you want to test them in mixed reality. That's kind of cool. So they're still, it's like them saying, hey, we're still supporting all the old apps, but let's get them in mixed reality. So I have a question for you guys. I was going through all the apps that are supported on the HoloLens, not just Windows mixed reality apps, but just generic 2D UWP apps. Do you guys think those have a lifeline on the HoloLens, or have we ever tried the Fitbit app, right? That was the only one that we tried. It didn't seem very useful to me. What's your guys' opinions on that?
False. Cover for me.
Well, here's what I see when they say that 2D apps are deployable now. Not things like the Fitbit app. I don't see a use for that, because I think you'll have better apps in the future that kind of have that maps ability, especially with this location-based features that they're rolling out. I'm thinking more along the lines of Excel in mixed reality, Word in mixed reality, things like that, where it's better to have a huge screen. So that's kind of what I see, is just them kind of embracing this idea that I think everyone has kind of been thinking about, is just mixed reality offices, and being a lot of these apps, they don't need to be 3D. They can still be 2D, but at least let me look at it on my HoloLens. And I think this is kind of moving to the idea of, the HoloLens is actually a Windows PC. It's just doesn't need a monitor because it operates in this mixed reality, augmented reality landscape.
That's an interesting point. You mentioned Excel. That's a really good point. You use Excel a lot. Would it be helpful for you to have an everly expanding Excel spreadsheet? Because I bet screen size really hampers what you can see and how much data you can process at once. Would making the screen uber massive like we did with the HoloLens, how big can holograms get? Would that be something that'd be useful?
Definitely. With Excel, you have to have a big screen, or you have to have two screens. I use it every day, and it just gets annoying to scroll and scroll and scroll, especially I deal with spreadsheets that are 200,000 rows, which is a lot of pages. I think I started accidentally printing one, and because I only needed one page, but I messed up and said print all, and it was like the printer had like 500 pages queued. Luckily, only 10 printed, but I realized and ran to the printer real quick and was like, oh, I almost wasted so much money and paper. But yeah, it'd be useful, definitely, to have bigger screens so you could see more and do more in the space you have rather than having to scroll and click everywhere.
Okay, that's a good point. So
I think we should download the Netflix app then.
There isn't a Netflix app
For Windows, in the Windows Store?
Oh, I wonder if it'll work.
It should.
It should work now, but you can also just go to the website.
That's true.
That's what I was wondering. So that's a good point. So you talk about like paper and screens and stuff, the Hollands. I'm trying to think in the future, because when I first got the Hollands, I was like, we'll never have screens anymore. We'll never have this. We'll never have this. Do you still see screens like monitors and TVs once mixed reality takes over and gets popular? Do you still see that as a viable device, or do you think it's so archaic at that point? What do you see the future of screens being like?
I see the future of screens being necessary until we get augmented and mixed reality down to an affordable level where everyone sitting at the table can have one on their head. Where it is right now, it's just too expensive to have a bunch of everyone have a HoloLens that you need to talk to and show data to. So we're still going to see the use of these things, I think, for quite some time until the point where for small meetings, everyone can afford to have the mixed reality devices. Obviously, for large group events, we're a really long way off from there because even now, not everyone has a smartphone even. So it's kind of this idea of like, you can't leave a bunch of people out. So you're still going to have these large screens, you know?
Mm-hmm. So you work at like a corporate center, and Meta's tried to come along and Microsoft too, with their new VR-esque headsets, their mixed reality headsets, or Windows holographic headsets, whatever the terminology is. They're trying to like take over this office space. How do you see that? Like, because I know where I work, we just barely got everybody up to Windows 7. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I'm trying to think how it would be to get my workforce on something like a Meta environment or a VR environment. How do you think that would go over where you work?
I'd say that's you go over really quick. We already we have Windows 10 and we get the new upgrades the second they come out. I think that's a lot. I think it's kind of different because my company is worth billions of dollars and yours is worth, I don't know how much, but I'm just going to say
it's owned by Home Depot, so
okay, a lot, but still probably one of the smaller divisions of Home Depot, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it would be like I just think that whatever Microsoft has the licenses for, they're going to push a lot harder, and I think we have a lot more fluid IT department. I think it's a
I'm just saying, how do you think your coworkers would embrace something like that? If they came and they said, you're not using this computer anymore, put this on, do you think people would lose their minds, or do you think people would be like, okay, yeah, I'm ready, let's do it?
I think some people would lose their minds, but at my work, a lot of the older people have actually left, retired, gotten their severance pay and all that. There's a lot more young people working where I am right now. So I think it'd be easier to get people on, but it'd still be this idea of like, whoa. Because like even now I'm like the guy to go to if you have like problems with your computer. If it's just like a small problem that's not like server based, like it's just like, oh, someone flipped my screen, how do I flip it back? That kind of stuff. Because that happens all the time because we're not supposed to leave our computers unlocked because we deal with sensitive information, but people still do it. So there's a guy who goes around and flips your screen if you've left it unlocked. So
that's awesome. First of all, yeah. I remember I did that in high school.
It's a good story.
And I did that in high school, and I came back. I flipped like 2 of the computer monitors in high school, and I came back, and there was caution tape wrapped around the computers. And the lady had shut down those 2 computers, and she's like, nobody go near them, they're broken. And I came in and I walked up and I right click, rotate screen. It was like Windows 7 or something, so you could do that. And or it was like control up or control down. I can't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head now. And it blew her mind. She came running over and she was like, oh my God, how did you do that? How did you do that? Please teach me. How did you do that? And I just showed her, and she's just like, was like, oh my God, you're a computer whiz. And I'm like, isn't this your job to be in charge of these? Do you think that holds back? Do you think we would have turned, let's say instead of compute in high school, we all went to high school, and we were all like, we weren't like nerdy kids, but we were tech kids, you know, like,
I think that's
our teachers.
Kids.
Okay, we were nerdy kids. Our teacher would come in and have me, instead of using the IT guys, he would have me and Paul fix his stuff. And we would go to Austin to help us fix our stuff. So it was like this conglomerate. And we did that all by ourselves. We had no assistance from school or anything. Everything we picked up ourselves, correct?
Yeah. I remember we put a computer in one of our lockers with a printer. So
I remember you ran the line.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
But we learned this all ourselves. Do you think it's better that we learned it ourselves, or do you think we would have had a better time if we were like in a really tech-heavy environment? So, like our computer lab teacher was like a really big nerd, or we actually had decent web development classes and coding classes. Do you think that would have helped us or hindered us? Because I don't know. I kind of think the self-learning actually helped us quite a bit.
Well, so you went to this coding camp, right? Do you think that learning the wrong way helped us? Like helped you, or did it kind of create a struggle?
I think it created a struggle, actually. I think learning incorrectly definitely hurt me.
Okay. Yeah, because like the more I look back at that class, the more I realize like I learned absolutely nothing. Like who uses like Dreamweaver? Like
oh God, yeah.
Flash games.
And our film class was just terrible.
Oh my goodness.
And so do you think that was a better environment, or do you think it was better that we learned ourselves? I guess I'm just trying to, I don't know. I'm trying to think how we would have gone if we went to a super techie school. Go ahead.
Noah seems to think that it's better we learned ourselves, and I tend to agree with that, because you make mistakes for yourself and then you have to solve those mistakes yourself rather than going to someone and being like, oh hey, come solve this for me. It's kind of like I got to figure this out myself because I created it myself. Like that's the way I like to learn. Like I don't like to sit in a class and have everything taught to me. I like if you're trying to teach me something, just give me the raw data that you want turned into something and let me play around with it. And if I have questions, I'll come to you. But for like at least a day, just let me sit in front of it and see what I can do with it and see if I can figure it out myself. Because you're going to retain more when you do it yourself.
Do you remember when we turned our computer lab into a chained DDoS attack thing? Do you remember when we tried to do that, Paul?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
We tried to DDoS our own school website with the school computers.
I remember when we spread StarCraft throughout the whole school, just on USBs. Like,
oh yeah, getting it
just
everywhere.
Like mass piracy.
It's so bad. Do you think that'll change in the future? Because we talk about this a lot. People seem to think that people in our generation or older generations seem to think that people in our generation are really tech literate. We understand technology really well. We can fix problems. We can solve our own problems with computers. But I think the fact of the matter is technology's gotten better. And I think that's the only difference. Is back when you had to set up internet back in the day, it was a problem. I mean, you had to solve it for yourself. You didn't have easy access to the internet because you didn't have the internet. So setting up your internet was a problem. Or if your computer broke, you had to solve it yourself. And so people would stay away from it. But now computers are so user-friendly and they rarely break that I think people are actually less tech literate than they used to be. They just are more exposed to technology. Is that a fair estimate? What do you guys think?
I would agree. Like, yeah, I agree with that.
Thanks, Austin.
I mean, I have nothing to add.
Thanks, Austin.
I would also have to agree in the fact that, like, I don't think just knowing how to use someone else's program makes you tech literate. It means that you're just like, I don't know how to say it, but I'd say tech, yeah. But like being tech literate would literally to me is being like, yeah, I know how to like code stuff for applications and stuff.
Or you
like
can
that.
solve your own problems. I feel like tech literate means you can solve your own computer problems. You get an error on your computer, something doesn't work, and you can solve it yourself.
You're a power user? Is that what this is called?
No.
No? I think it is.
I'll have to be quiet. Let me finish.
Okay.
Sorry, now my train of thought's gone, Austin. You know how ADHD I am.
I know.
Okay. What was I saying?
I'm sorry.
Someone help me. Paul.
Something about how if you can solve your own
I got it. They say 98% of people cannot solve their own computer problems in Western society. So they took all the Western countries together, and they found out that 95 to 98% of people cannot solve their own computer problems. And they say that number's not estimated to change anytime soon. They said that's just kind of like a set staying number. I think with technology is becoming too advanced. Like if our HoloLens broke, we couldn't fix it. You know what I mean? And I see this future of even more tech illiteracy. Like even people like us who we consider ourselves tech enthusiasts and stuff won't be able to fix our own tech problems because the hardware is just too advanced and the software is too advanced. Everything's beyond us at that point, and it's too user friendly. Because there's no way if our HoloLens broke, we could fix it ourselves. You know, we would have to send it back in. And if that's the future of technology, same with an iPad. You know, you can't fix an iPad yourself. I mean, you can, and it's not too hard. But I mean, as far as like an everyday person trying to do it, there's no way they can fix their own iPad. So do you guys think in the future we're going to be like super techie geniuses, or do you we're going to be like almost slaves to the advancement of our technology and just kind of take it at will, if that makes sense?
Guess it depends on if you follow it enough and take the time to study and learn what you're actually dealing with and understand the technology that you're trying to use. And that way you can be able to be literate with it and do maintenance on it if you have to. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'd say I definitely have to agree. And Tuck Seaver is saying some pretty interesting stuff. He says, like, don't confuse technical ability with poor design. Repairability is not the consumer's fault. And he says it's a design choice, which, yeah, I agree with, especially when you bring up, like, the iPad. Like, Apple doesn't want you messing around with their stuff. They want to send it back. They want you to send it back so they can make sure that it really is fixed, or they can charge you more if it does go to that point, especially with the way their warranties work. Sometimes these companies do run you around the ringer if like you break something and it's definitely your fault. But like software problems, you have to take it to an Apple store. When you go into a store, you're more likely to buy something else in that store that you didn't like know you needed. So it's a good move by them to be like, yeah, come to our genius bar, but then play around with all this new tech while we fix your old tech, you know? Or
like your planned redundancy. It's like almost like forced stupidity. Like you make it complicated on purpose so they have to pay more. It's like, oh, you could never fix this yourself. You might as well send it to us and charge us more. I think that's kind of a shitty way for a consumer to run their business. But I mean, it makes sense from a business standpoint why they would do it. But I mean, even with Windows, I mean, technology is just getting pretty advanced. But at the same time, it's like really simple, like that router you bought, Paul. You remember that Google On-Hub router? Isn't that what it was?
Oh, yeah.
It's so simple now. But would you consider that you were able to set that up, you're more tech intelligent, or you're less tech intelligent from setting that up?
Less tech intelligent, because it was easiest plugging it in, turning on an app, holding the phone near the router. The router made a noise, the phone made a noise, they paired. And then the app just took care of the rest of it. Like, you were able to set up the Wi-Fi name, the password, all that from the app. So, like, my parents didn't need me to set it up. I just bought it for them because I knew when it did break, it'd be foolproof to fix because they can turn the router on and off from their smartphone. So it's just like, it just makes sense. But yeah, it definitely doesn't make you smarter. It's just, that's where routers are going in the future, you know, to this just simplicity, which is what it should be, you know. It shouldn't be hard to do that, but
exactly. I think that's great, and I like the idea that bringing technology to the masses. Anybody can use it, whether it's my grandma or whether it's like that. And that's what I love so much about the iPad and these new technologies is they're so user friendly that it gets people like my grandparents using technology and in a really exciting way. And that's one of the things I love most about the HoloLens is, you put it on someone's head and they just work it. It just works for them. They just the air tap takes them a second to get down, but once they get that, it's so natural. And it just makes so much sense. But I guess the main point I'm trying to make is I think it's just funny that people say our generation is extremely tech savvy, but I would actually beg the opposite. I bet 95% of the people we went to school with couldn't solve their own computer problems, and that's their choice. That's fine. But people still think like if you can reboot a computer, you're like a tech smart kid. I don't know. It's just interesting. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh no, I guess I'm kind of gonna chime in there. Like, yeah, like my entire group at work, we're about to move floors, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be in charge of setting up everyone's computers again." I was just like, it's literally 2 quarts, literally 2 quarts, and everyone's just like, "Yeah, I don't want to deal with it." And it's just like literally nothing can go wrong. It's moving it from one physical location to another. You're not even changing networks. I just don't understand.
I guess I fall prey to it too, because I like to think I'm pretty tech savvy, they're pretty smart, but I fall prey to it too. We have our friend, I could say his name, Brandon. We have our friend Brandon, and he's a genius. Like, he's really smart. And I always come to him with my tech problems. I'm like, I just don't want to think about it for more than 5 seconds. So if it's something I don't want to think about for too long, I'll just pawn it off on him. And he normally gets mad at me. It doesn't help me anyway. But I feel the same way, and it's kind of a shame. It's like a missed opportunity. It's like a missed opportunity to help yourself. But I don't know. It's a fine line to walk between like just getting someone else to help and just having someone else do it for you. Because I always felt it's a shame. But I guess you're just opening yourself up to getting taken advantage of, like, with certain problems. But I don't know. It's just funny growing up in our high school because, oh boy, it was so tech-literate. How was your guys' college on technology? I'm curious.
The students were really good. The professors were not. I can't tell you how many times I had to go to the front of the class to show a professor how to unmute YouTube.
Hey, same thing here. Like, how does this DVD work?
And it's like those media systems that the schools have installed, like your IT guys put in, they are simple to use. Like, it's literally a push of a button and you're on your DVD player. Or oh, hey, I want to go back to my PC. It's a push of a button. It's so simple. But some people just don't bother understanding it. Some of my professors, they did bother to learn. Like, they actually went through, I think all universities have these online training courses when a new piece of technology comes. Some of my professors bothered to do it and they had no problems. Others just didn't know what they were doing. I just don't know.
No, I feel the same way. So what about the system as a whole? The IT guys, were they really good? Did you guys have fiber internet? I don't know, were they up to date and shit?
Yeah, we had fiber internet. We had that Cincinnati Bell I've talked about before. But they were up to date. There was a couple times where it went down for a day, and I think that was more on the server side rather than IT guys themselves. I think some guy in the mainframe really messed something up. But that was the only time we ever had a huge problem with the IT.
Interesting. What about USU, Paul? I mean, Austin.
USU, they had I think they use fiber, and then they have what's called Blue Zone, and it's just wireless internet wherever you are on campus, and it ran pretty smooth. And yeah, that I don't know.
Well, didn't your brother? Who was it that got kicked off the internet?
Oh, so my brother, he was torrenting a game, and he was letting it seed for a long time, which don't do that, and he got caught, and he had to pay a $25 fine, and they shut off his internet. But all he did was he changed the MAC address on his computer, and so he was able to get back on the internet and use the internet. But I mean, he still wouldn't pay the fine. So Yeah, be careful on campus, I guess, if you want to torrent stuff.
That's so funny. I'm curious about the future of like IT and tech services because like at our school, you know, if there's a tech problem, they would do the tech guy, but I feel like tech problems are going to go away. Like you're going to outsource that stuff really easily. Like you'd have to call on a Mac Pro or with a HoloLens, you know, your normal IT guy, the system will probably be forcibly closed-ended because you don't want someone in there tinkering with sensors and different stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm just really curious about the future of IT or tech infrastructure as a whole, and how that'll come about changing from it. I was talking with my girlfriend. What do you guys think the future of like paper and handwritten books is? This is a little bit off topic, but for some reason I feel like books will always be around. I don't feel like paper or books will go anywhere. No, go ahead, Paul.
I think books will always be around. I mean, even Amazon is starting to open up bookstores again, like for regular old bookstores again. I don't know if you saw that in the news, but like a couple months ago they said they were going to start opening up select bookstores across the country. And there's still like bookstores that survive. They're limited, but they still survive, and they still get people that go to them, because when I'm reading a book, I don't want to read it on like a screen. I want to like hold it in my hand and turn the pages. And when you go through like a huge book, you get this sense of satisfaction, not seeing like on a computer screen, like, oh, I just read 500 pages, but actually feeling 500 pages and being like, yeah, I read this and it was a good book, you know?
Exactly. I just feel like paper, like notes, there's something about handwriting notes, and there's something about that. I feel like paper won't be as common. I feel like in the future will be very waste conscientious, and stuff like the HoloLens and augmented reality is going to help that so much. I mean, can you imagine not having all the trash monitors, all the trash computer parts, and all the physical things that are going to be able to disappear, and how much waste we're going to be able to alleviate due to mixed reality? Just that fact alone makes mixed reality worth pushing. I mean, it's incredible. But I think paper will always still be something. I think we'll probably like come up with super good recycling methods so that paper will be basically 1-to-1. If you throw a piece of paper away and you recycle it, you'll probably get almost one piece of paper back out of it, you know? I think I'm excited for that. It'll probably be like a hotter commodity, but I was just talking to, I can't remember who I was talking to, but they were like, yeah, with augmented reality and mixed reality, you'll be able to take your notes and stuff like that. I just feel like paper's not going anywhere. Is that crazy of me to say? Because I got a little bit of flack when I said that. What do you guys think?
No, I think you learn more when you just write it down. Like, it's just like there's something like that connection between the hand and the brain. It's just like, yeah, now that I wrote this down, I'm going to remember it. That's what I do. Like, I don't take like for like serious notes in classes, or even when I'm like in a meeting at work now. I just write down like keywords that when I see the keyword will remind me of what the conversation was about. So like, oh hey, this conversation was about like final pay and stuff like that. So I'll just write down the word final pay and maybe a specific date, and then I'll know exactly what they were talking about because of that. So I still find that I use a lot of paper, even though I do have like my phone, which has a notes app on it. Like, typing does not have the same like memory causing properties as paper, in my opinion.
No, I think you're totally right. Speaking of like waste removal, let's just see how many things we can name off really quickly that mixed reality can replace. That like causes waste. Computer screens. Do you guys see a future in like posters, like mixed reality posters and stuff like that? Like we'll see like less advertisements and more like mixed reality posters and stuff like that.
I think you're kind of getting into that area of that. What's the name of that video?
Hyper reality.
Yeah. You're kind of getting into that realm, and I can see limited amounts of those, but I don't know. I don't really see that, in my opinion. I can see like things that augment a physical poster, like click here to see more, like so it's a real poster, but it has like the equivalent of a QR code. So when you look at it, like it comes up with a pop-up like, hey, check this out.
Like a Heineken ad, like you see a Heineken bottle and you click on it.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Just like everyday things, like objects, your HoloLens starts recognizing it, and that's cool. I don't know. I'm just super excited. I'm just excited for the future. Anyways, we have a couple more news articles. I got way off track. Hit me with some other news articles.
We got one about this company called ByteCube. Cubed is becoming the latest Microsoft mixed reality partner, and they're focused on government innovation. So I don't know exactly what they're really saying about it's. They kind of gave that typical like give us money kind of spiel where they're like, we're going to be more innovative for the government and develop the mixed reality applications for government use. So I don't know what that will specifically be about, but they say they are catering to federal customers and not your typical company.
I'm thinking like a HoloLens that can sense illegals better. Like, you know, when you're going... I'm not saying if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying... I feel like that could totally be something like Watch Dogs. You know, Watch Dogs, that video game, you would walk around and like everybody would have like their personal information above them, like their little UI thing, and cops have HoloLens that like say if you have a warrant, like sees your face detection, attack this person, RoboCop style stuff. So did they say if they're going to go like help like business side of government or like military government or just government in general?
They say government in general, but I'm going to guess that it's going to be business side of government. I think the military, if they were doing anything for that, they'd keep it on the DL, if I would say so. And also, who kind of has the market cornered on that? ODG has the market kind of cornered with the military, and the fact that they make the high impact, like they make
the built-in helmets and stuff like that.
Yeah, they make very, very durable AR stuff. So I think they'd go with ODG over anything, especially because that's kind of how like the military works, is once they have a contractor, they tend to stick with that contractor, and it's really hard to beat out a current contractor for their contract.
So there's so many like AR, MR startups coming. Are most of these startups just coming around to get bought out? Is that like their main goal? They just want to develop a technology and then hopefully get... Because I can't see like these startups taking on bigger companies like Microsoft or Magic Leap or Meta. I would even consider one of the startups that's looking to get bought out. What's their end goal getting into this industry? Because you don't see any phones. Like that didn't really happen with the phone industry. Phones was dominated by Nokia, Samsung, Google, Microsoft, Apple, you know. Was there any startup phone companies? That would have been cool though.
I feel like there were, but we don't hear about them because they quickly got bought out by companies like Motorola. I know Motorola was buy happy. Like they bought everyone that they could when they were cash rich. Yeah. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, especially I think a good case study in this will kind of be, so you know how Apple's trying to make that big push into China? And they, like, people in China see their phones as these luxury devices, but those local Chinese makers are beating Apple at their own, like, smartphone game in the Chinese market.
Yeah, and then they make them, like, look exactly the same, but, like, cost, like, $25, and they work just as good.
Yeah, and that's a big thing that's going to be interesting to watch, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff where we're seeing that kind of happening before our eyes with the smartphones. I don't know how it's going to work with mixed reality devices. Maybe people will smell crap with like the $30 HoloLens beater, which
we have pre-ordered and we are waiting. So we ordered like 3 of them. So we're waiting. Just you guys wait. We got a $30 HoloLens beater and a $20 Meta beater and
we can't wait for the Magic Leap beater. Now, it's just a cardboard box, and you got to use your imagination. Well, it comes with a bag of shrooms, but other than that,
bag of shrooms in a cardboard box.
Try the Magic Leap beater for $30. That's awesome. Yes.
Probably would be the Magic Leap.
You just open the box and it's a bunch of hot air. Anyway, sorry, we had to get our jabs in there. Yeah, you're right. So Noah's here and Tuck's here. We will be having them on soon to discuss Magic Leap happenings and all of that. And there, from what I understand, there's been quite a few happenings in the Magic Leap realm. Some murmurings of a prototype release and some murmurings of some other stuff. But you know what? There's been murmurings since 2016. So I hope these ones go somewhere. Yes, I can't remember what I was going to say. What are the news stories? Is that everything that we have on news? Qualcomm
is making... How do you Qualcomm aims to improve mixed reality and biometrics with new camera tech. Did you guys look deep into this article? I didn't really have a chance yet.
It wasn't super long. I looked through it, but let me open it back up. I'll drop it in the chat for everybody, just in case we don't have time to get to it. Where were we? Mobile syrup?
Yes.
Okay, let me drop this in because Google does not like letting people post links. And boom, there it is. All right, yeah, so mobile syrup. Yeah. The picture looks really cool, and that's what really caught my eye. That's a really high resolution.
Like scanning by those sensors on that camera.
That is extremely high resolution. That's from not an iPad. That's a tablet, correct?
Yeah, but so it's probably an Android tablet because Qualcomm only makes chips for Android, I believe. I don't know. Does Apple have their own chip maker, or do they contract like Qualcomm out?
I thought they used Intel and other stuff for phones. I have no idea. I don't think they use their own. I would highly doubt they use their own.
Don't they have Intel?
Well, Qualcomm makes the best mobile chips I know, like the Snapdragons. They're like incredible. So that's definitely a Android tablet.
It says the iris authentication module boasts a 40 millisecond recognition speed and purports to work through most sunglasses. Wow, that's cool. To be able to see through sunglasses, and that'd be some fun stuff to test. I love that.
So I think with the biometrics, I think this is kind of what you were talking about, Eric, with like people having biometric data associated with them. And this will kind of enable that to work better. Like they'll be able to sense it more accurately.
I think
if I'm understanding correctly.
What is considered instant to the human eye? I can't remember. I used to do a bunch of research on this for real-time conversations and stuff like that, and video feed. Real-time is like anything sub 90 milliseconds, I think. I can't remember. Or like 10 milliseconds. It's between like 10 and 50 milliseconds. But anyways, so that's basically instant to the eye. Instant scanning, that's pretty cool. Instant real-time scanning would be incredible. Could you imagine, like, you roll a ball, and you could attach something to the ball, essentially, and just roll the ball, and something would stay attached to it as it's sensing where it's going. That's really crazy.
Yeah, I think that's a big... If a bunch of headset designers get a hold of that, that is a big development, in my opinion, for mixed reality as a whole, because... like that kind of opens up how we had that open world, like HoloLens open world video come out recently. I think that really opens that entire thing up because it's like you're walking down the street and it's scanning before you're even like think about having to tell it to scan, you know?
And then it's like a true mixed reality experience. It'd be sweet.
Yeah, and driving. I mean, I think 40 milliseconds, maybe not quite fast enough for driving, but I mean, that's on the verge of being fast enough to put a sensor on top of your car and have it hook into your HoloLens and have real-time feed straight to your HoloLens or whatever the device happens to be, to your headset. And you could get go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. This also kind of enables us to do like those real-time gaming stuff because that's the response time of most like high-quality gaming monitors. So like you can imagine like, you know how we were talking about last week that warehouse that is being turned into like the mixed reality gaming center, kind of like
that Jason was working
games. Yeah, this could be huge for that because you could literally like attach characters to people in that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Service, and it'd be like playing Call of Duty, but you're like actually in the room with the people, you know.
That would be awesome. Like Airsoft, but on crack. Oh, that'd be cool. Oh, man. An Airsoft mixed reality style game would be so cool. Imagine, like, doing, like, we used to, when we were little, remember how we used to get our Airsoft guns and, like, run up into the forest and play around and stuff like that? Imagine if we actually did, like, a simulation where we were, like, running SWAT training against, oh, man, that'd be so cool.
Like what people do with Arma, like, have, like, almost a guy, like, being God and just like spawning enemies in front of you and you have to like fight through the woods.
One of them has
running through the woods.
One of them has one of the VR headsets on and they're like can see everything and they've got the whole field laid out in front of them. Oh, that'd be so cool. Oh man, that'd be so cool. I'm excited for that. Yeah, we haven't seen anything being released to like the HoloLens yet between the that connects the HoloLens to the VR device and like this simultaneously experience. But man, I'm so excited for that. We don't have a headset yet.
Yeah, we have. Remember that puzzle game where it was like they were on an island and one had the VR headset?
We haven't seen anything come out quite yet. To us.
Okay, yeah, okay. Because I was about to say, well, that is an app that exists.
It exists, not to us, sadly. Give it to us. We want to try. Well, we couldn't do anything with it anyway.
Soon. We will.
So everybody go ahead and tweet at Meta and say, hey, why haven't you given Holo Herald a Meta yet to test? Because they're taking a while to get back to us, and we really want a Meta to play with. And we know you guys want a Meta. I'm curious to the... Nobody's replying in the comments, so I won't say anything now. We could actually end this podcast early because we're going to have an extra segment to add on at the end for like 30 minutes. So instead of going a billion years long, we can probably go ahead and call this one a good one. Go ahead and say your closing words while I get everything ready to go for the wrap-up.
Well,
I appreciate everyone who showed up, especially Noah and Tuck. And I think that was it. And I appreciate your guys' comments. And it was a great podcast. And I think we'll talk to Noah on Thursday?
Maybe. No promises to anybody, but hopefully.
Austin, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No problem. I just wanted to say we just got our copy of Shanong's book on beginning Windows mixed reality programming. It's a pretty sweet and a valuable resource for anyone who's looking at beginning mixed reality development for Windows. So I believe it's on Amazon. We'll post a link in the description to it. You guys can go check it out. It's a good read for anyone who wants to get into the scene. So yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know.
Guys, I don't know. I want to get Sean on the podcast, but I'm kind of scared to talk to him. He's a bigwig. He's got a ton of subscribers, and he always gets all the devices early. But I think he'd be awesome to have on the podcast. He's a super nice guy.
Let's get him on.
Maybe after we get a couple ones under our belt, so we don't make a fool of ourselves, we can get him on. So there you go. You heard it here first. Sean Ong will be featured. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, thank you, Sean Ong, for that book. By the way, I think we're probably. Let me fix this. What the freak? Something playing and it's just not coming through to my headphones. Okay. My browser's crashing.
Background videos.
Everybody, hold on. I want to do my outro, but I only like to do it when there's music playing. What the heck? All right, we're going to have a problem. Have you been mugged yet in the big city, Paul?
Nope.
I heard sirens in the background.
Yeah, well, we have an opioid crisis going on here, so you're going to hear a lot of sirens. But
what do you think that you're housing KKK members, Paul? What do you think about that, huh?
I thought that was pretty interesting, but that guy, he doesn't live, like, near me.
I'm pretty sure he's your neighbor.
It's actually Paul.
I know it's not fake news or anything, but I heard you actually hang out with him on the weekends.
I think that's totally fake news, and you're fake news, Eric.
Do you vape with him on the weekends?
I don't vape.
Guys, my SoundCloud's not playing. Can you guys hear anything, or am I just being crazy? Am I casting?
Well, I don't have the stream on because I don't like to hear myself twice.
You can mute the stream.
I do have the stream muted.
Oh, I know it's not coming to Frick! It's not playing. I was gonna rant about something earlier and I don't remember what it was. I'll save it for next week.
Or save it for the interview with Noah and Ethan.
I can't rant in front of public in front of other people. I only like to rant when it's just my close friends listening.
Well, and you're streaming.
Oh, crap. We need to get this on iTunes. Sorry, guys, this is a long outro, I know, but it's really frustrating me. Okay, I'm going to go to YouTube.
This is a classic Holo Herald outro. Long, drawn out.
To the point. Hey, look.
Before we're done.
HH Podcast 24 Live. MR AR Podcast. That sounds awesome.
Oh, we should go check
Why
that
can't
out.
we go on YouTube Gaming? I hate the whole separation between YouTube Gaming. Streaming on YouTube is pointless unless you're doing a game. Okay.
Well, we game on the HoloLens.
Yeah, we do.
We're leaving this in, Noah. We're leaving it in.
What does he say?
I edit the podcast. He said edit this out. No, I'm leaving it in.
He's leaving it now.
Okay. We're gonna randomly click one. Guys, I'm solving this here live on the podcast. I'm sorry.
We can just play music after it.
I know we
In
can.
post. That's the first time I've ever said in post, so.
Got
You're
it.
welcome.
Got it. Oh, it's funky music. All right, I got it working. For some reason, Windows had turned it down and not. It's so freaking weird. I hate you, Windows. Get your crap together. All right, we're just going to do. That sounds gay. Oh, no, you can't say that anymore. Okay. That's not by Naima. No, never mind. We're probably going to get ID tracked for that now. Well, this is awkward. This is really awkward. How about this?
Sounds good.
Okay. You didn't hear it,
anything.
but I know. All right. Here we are. Episode 24, wrapping up. Kind of a quick one. We hit a lot of different topics really quickly. Sorry, I have extremely bad ADHD, and it comes out really bad live on the podcast sometimes. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the live stream. That means you, Tuck, you, Noah, and I think I saw one more person there, but I don't know. We switched the podcast times to Tuesday nights, so be here or be square. This will be out pre-recorded for you on Friday. We'll be releasing this Friday, and if you're listening to it now live, come back and listen to the end of it, or the beginning. I haven't decided where we're going to put it yet, but we're going to have an exclusive interview with the Magic Leapers, magicians, the Magic Leap dweebs, whatever you want to call them. We're going to be interviewing a couple of them because we're not self-proclaimed Magic Leap fans, so we don't have the most inside source. Anyways, they're going to be there, so be there, join it, be square. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for everything you do. We got some really cool video ideas coming up, so subscribe, like, enjoy, tell your friends. Make sure you guys tell your friends. It means a lot to us to grow this community. Anyways, this outro's going on too long. I love you guys. I say this thing in the name of you guys. Stay, man. Bye.